Okay, Manchester United are said to be in talks with Borussia Dortmund over Jadon Sancho on a loan deal until the end of the season. The player returning, Julien Laurens and Luis Garcia still with Shaka and myself. Jules, what more can you tell us about this whole situation? Is he heading back to Borussia Dortmund?
Yes, I think so, Kay. This is very likely to be done considering the negotiations are really well advanced between Sancho and Dortmund and the two clubs. As well, I expect him to join Dortmund in they go to Marbella for their winter camp in the sun in the next few days. I think tomorrow, actually, and I think he would be there very soon after, if not at the same time. I think, personally, it's an amazing deal from a Dortmund point of view because they're only going to pay €3 million for the 6 months that Jadon Sancho is going to spend there, which includes wages. And when you know how much he's earning right now, 3 million, which includes a loan fee as well, is really ridiculously low, I think. So in a way, it's even Manchester United kind of paying for Sancho to go and play somewhere else, which in a way you can understand because there's no future for him at Manchester United. If he has 6 good months at Dortmund, then next summer when you want to sell him, then his stock would have risen, obviously, because of those good moments and good months in Dortmund. And for him is to go back to Dortmund, to work again with Terzic, who had a really good influence on him in the 6 months that he was coaching him as an interim coach in 2021. So all of that, and you can understand Dortmund needing not another winger. That's not, I think, I mean, yes, it's another winger and they already have a lot, but he's a winger with a different skill set to Adeyemi, to Malen, to Bino Gittens, for example. So they needed someone like him. And at that price, I think it makes a lot of sense for Dortmund.
There was interest, Shaka, said to be interest from Juventus, from Leipzig as well. Do you think Dortmund is a good place for him to go back to at this stage with everything going on around him right now?
Well, I think it's a good place given the fact that he knows Dortmund and played for Dortmund. He knows that club, he knows his setup, and had some good years there. And I'm with Jules in that he was going absolutely nowhere in Manchester. So he needed a move, at least to add some value to his stock. It works for Manchester United if Jadon Sancho has a good 6 months. But to Jules' point, 3 million is not a big gamble to take. I haven't seen, well, quite clearly from that stat, there's nothing that Jadon Sancho has done in Manchester United to suggest that he's going to rekindle that lost spark. So I understand the gamble. I'm just I'm not that convinced that it works out.
So how do you come back? How can he come back, Luis, after what has been a long time away from being at the best of himself?
Quick and with the opportunities and getting minutes. I think the most important is as soon as he arrived to Dortmund, start playing a lot of minutes. That's how he's going to get back the confidence, get back the way that he was back in 2021. I think he's a magnificent player. I think he can bring so many, because there are not many players like him who can be players, who can score goals, who can assist. You saw the stats. But definitely, we have to look at, he's only 23. He's a player who should start his career right now. And we are talking like he was a long time ago or at the end of his career. So I think, and I'm expecting him to do well as soon as when he arrived with the right attitude, with the right mentality and ready to work, because they are not going to give him the minutes for free. Dortmund has got already a team built and strong. They only need a couple of things and maybe he can add those moments. So I think he's a great player and he can add a lot of good things to Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see him on ESPN as well, playing his football with Borussia Dortmund, should all go well. Let's focus on the Premier League then and how things have turned out since we have had Christmas. Let's just say that, because when we were heading into Christmas, Arsenal, top of the table, isn't the case now. They're fourth at this stage, and it's Liverpool who are top of the table, and we'll get to Liverpool in just a moment. But Jules, I think last time you were on, particularly with me anyway, Arsenal were top. What's gone wrong since then? What's going on?
Sorry, Kay, the line just cut when you asked me the question, sorry.
Very convenient when we're asking you what's gone wrong with Arsenal.
Yeah.
So what's gone wrong with Arsenal over these last few games? They were top going into Christmas Day and now they're not, they're fourth.
Yeah, that's right, from top to fourth. I mean, we all know that football can go very quickly. They look so good against Brighton, for example, in their home win. And then the West Ham game happened where they didn't defend well at all, but they were still, for me, the better side. and could have played that game again and would have won it. However, I think the most worrying is the Fulham defeat because they didn't play well at all. It was their worst performance of the season. They conceded some cheap goals again, whereas defensively they've been really solid, pretty much up to the West Ham game. Even if they conceded there and there, they looked solid. They looked more in control of their games, of the performance of the game, the tempo of the game. And especially against Fulham, there was none of that. So there might be a bit of tiredness, and some players have played a lot already, and some players are less efficient than last season. The front three especially. Martinelli is clearly going through a time where he's lost a bit of confidence. Gabriel Jesus is Gabriel Jesus. We know everything good that he brings, but we also know that he should be scoring a bit more goals. And then Bukayo Saka, it feels like a lot rests on him and maybe a little bit too much, actually. So it's still not over for them, of course. They're still not too far behind Liverpool, Villa and City, but they just can't have again that kind of the deep of form that we saw against West Ham and Fulham.
Carlo Ancelotti will not be too upset with that. Carlo Ancelotti, who has, of course, over the break extended his contract with Real Madrid to 2026. Real Madrid continue to lead the table along with Girona, both of them level on 48 points and 10 points adrift of the chasing pack right now. Barcelona take on Las Palmas tomorrow, so they have a chance there to reduce the deficit. But so far, it is these two teams pulling away. What stood out to you from this game, Jules?
Well, I mean, I know Shaka was quite optimistic before predicting a 3-0 win, but we said, the three of us, for four of us with UK, that it was going to be difficult and tricky a little bit because of the way this Mallorca team plays, defend well in the 5-4-1 formation. And we also said that Rodrigo coming back to the right-hand side because Vinicius was back onto the left, that maybe was going to be a bit different, and Rodrigo didn't have the impact that he had during Vinicius' injury. Vinicius played an hour, like we said as well, with some good moments, but also you could clearly tell that he's not fully match fit yet. There's a couple of moments where maybe he kept the ball a little bit too long, so this will come. But overall, it was a bit underwhelming from Real Madrid. However, like we also said, they've at times found ways this season to win, whether it's set pieces, and you mentioned the game before Christmas as well, whether it's just a Jude Bellingham late goal like we saw against Celta, like we saw against Getafe, all those games that in the end Real Madrid were maybe not amazing with the ball, certainly collectively, but found a way through individual brilliance to go and win it. And I think tonight was exactly that. And I think Carlo Ancelotti, you're right, would be very happy with the win, even if the performance collectively was not the best.
So what of Vinny's return then, Luis? Because we were expecting to see him back sometime in February. Then we see that he's fit enough to play, actually fit enough to start as well.
Yeah, sometimes this kind of play, they amaze me because when we are talking about muscle injuries, they are very complicated. You can risk yourself to be away from the game for quite a longer period. But he played 60 minutes in a very decent way. We saw him sharp at moments, a couple of chances that he missed, one of them because of a fantastic save. But he was involved in most of the chances that Real Madrid created in the first 45 minutes. And he was later on the second half where you could see that he looked a little bit tired. He was replaced very quick on the second half to try to don't risk any more injuries for the future. I think Ancelotti did well. But again, it was the first game after quite a long period and it looked good. Once again, Real Madrid relying on him, on Rodrigo, Jude Bellingham, but it was the centre-back Rodriguez today who managed to get that fantastic goal, that fantastic header, and get the 3 points. And I'm sure that Real Madrid will be very happy because now they are regaining players who were injured, like Arda Güler that we didn't see today, and also Camavinga is going to be soon back on the squad. So good news for Real Madrid so far in this 2024.
Is it a two-horse race, Shaka?
Yeah, listen, I think the gap right now, was it 9 between Atleti and the top two? I just don't see them making up that ground. And while, yes, we still question whether Girona can go the whole distance, whether they can handle the pressures as the season goes on, and still this is not the best Real Madrid we've seen. 9 points is an awful lot of ground to make up. I just don't see Atleti making that up this season. So I think it's down to Girona for the
It's
upset.
10 right now. It's 10 points to make up. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I just don't see it. That's right. I just don't see it.
Okay, so you don't see it. Do you see it, Luis?
No, it's gonna be tricky. Even if I try to be positive and thinking about Barcelona to winning tomorrow against Las Palmas, that is not gonna be a very easy game. 7 points is still a big gap between these two teams. I think thinking about Real Madrid dropping points, that probably they will drop some points, but we can see Real Madrid maybe losing one and drawing another one in the next coming 3-4 months. We know that Champions League is going to get back, and that's going to hit hard on Real Madrid because the squad is not that deep. But definitely, I think it's a big gap. So I'm not sure if Atletico Madrid is going to have the chance of getting back, and Barcelona will have to wait and see tomorrow.
Have you got Real Madrid or Girona, Jules?
I mean, for the experience and the pressure and having been in the position and be Real Madrid full stop, I think you have to put them favourite, of course. But I think the Girona side has showed, like we've been saying, how incredible they can be. And if you can do it over 19 games, you might be able to do it over the other 19 games of all the reverse fixtures. Girona will host Real Madrid, will host Barcelona as well in the weeks and months to come, which is big. And the same can be said for Barca. Even if Barca win tomorrow against Las Palmas, it's 7 points. If you were 7 points behind one team, we could say, okay, maybe they can do it. There's still a Clásico to be played at the Bernabeu, but still a Clásico. But to come back 7 points over two teams who are doing so well, I think would be probably too much for Barca. So it'll be Real Madrid or Girona, and we have to make Real Madrid the favourite because, again, it's Real Madrid against, tiny Girona who've never been there before.
So, we'd seen Real Madrid play earlier in the game. Girona came after them, and they did manage to win this game against Atleti. What a game it was, particularly that first half. Girona proving themselves to be the real deal this season. We're going to welcome in Luis Garcia and also Julien Laurens as well. But what a game that was, Shaka.
We didn't know what to do with ourselves, where to look with this one, because you just felt it could swing any which way. Girona, the fairy tale story of the season so far, looked so good in the first half. You thought at 3-1 had it won, and then all of a sudden it's 3-3. And as I mentioned in the highlight, the second half was all Atletico Madrid. And then you start to question, do Girona have the legs to really see this title challenge through? Do they have a defence that can resist the likes of Atletico Madrid, Griezmann and Morata in the form that they're in? And all signs were no. But then as the second half wore on, while Atleti dominated, some of their chances just started to fizzle. But even so, there wasn't an awful lot from Girona, Dovbyk chance aside, and then Ivan Martin just pops up and from nowhere, I don't think anybody saw this coming, he stabs one into the top corner, and the fairy tale just continues.
It really does continue, and it's so fun to watch too, Luis.
Yeah, we've been talking about this Girona, how they are a joy to watch. The way, the personality they have when on the ball is just magnificent. They know what to do every single time, even in the second half when they decided just to drop back a little bit, allow Atletico Madrid to come against them. It's true that they were suffering, they look even, they ran out of legs, but it was about when they decided that maybe a point was enough for them and Atletico Madrid was needed to go forward and start committing players. They start playing again and they start counter-attacking again. And you saw Jan Cotto on the right side just trying to go for the next one. And it was Mati, the one who actually deserved it. He was dismissed in the first half by a fantastic save by Oblak. And he scored that last goal in the last minute, not giving Atletico Madrid the chance to maybe get the equalizer. It was a very tight game. We predicted in the beginning of the show. We knew that for Girona it was perfect, a draw. It was a very good result for them. But again, they never play with the result. They just enjoy what they have. That is a fantastic manager that is giving a lot of confidence, and players who probably not many people knows them well, where actually they are well known right now because they are the top of the league, joined by Real Madrid. So fantastic what they are doing so far this season.
And they're not there by accident, Jules. Do you think they can keep it up?
Well, there's no reason why they can't, because we've been saying all through this first half of the season, or at some point, this is going to stop, and it's not stopping. They've lost only one game, and that was at the Bernabeu against Real Madrid in a game that they actually played really well too. And the 3-0 defeat was harsh on the day, but they have 48 points after 20 games, which is one less than they had in the whole of last season when they finished 10th. It's just an incredible story. I don't think sometimes we really realize what they're doing with the squads nowhere near as good as the big three, really. And even in the way Michel is using the depth in the squad. Portus, Tuani, when they come on, they bring something. Valeri, who started tonight but came on against Barcelona, for example, away in that big win before Christmas, and scored late like Stuani. It's just everything right now is going their way, and they've had hardly no injuries either, and they obviously don't play in Europe, which is a big advantage. But still, there's no reason why they can't continue like this. It's incredible.
Yeah, it really is incredible, Luis, especially when we keep looking at them game by game to see where will it be that there's a problem. Obviously, they lost to Real Madrid, as Jules mentioned, but they've taken on Barcelona at this stage, and obviously Atleti in this game too. And we're just taking a look here at the results. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No, not bad at all. And you can see that always with a lot of goals on the games. There is a team that is very creative. They are just thinking on one thing, that is to try to find the net in the other side. It's true that they look vulnerable at some times. We saw it today against Atletico Madrid. We saw against Barcelona that they make mistakes. There are moments where they lose the focus on the game and they maybe look like they are having troubles in defense. But again, it's a joy to watch. My only concern is if this type of players, when they arrive March and they can see the trophy right there in front of them, they can manage those expectations. Those thinking about the pressure is right now on us. If we lose the games, if we drop points, maybe all the work that we've done for so many months is not going to be worth it. That's the pressure that I want to see if they can handle it very well.
OK, talking about handling things, you're going to have to handle this next question, Luis Garcia, former Atleti player. That's 4 straight away losses for Diego Simeone's men. They are now 10 points adrift of the top 2. What's happened to them? Are they going to be OK?
I guess they're going to be okay. Today, it's true that Girona deserved also the 3 points, but Atletico Madrid showed the personality that they have, and in the second half, they imposed their game against Girona. Again, it's a team that looks very, very strange. So from the Atletico Madrid that we saw 4 years back, they don't look as solid, and this Atletico Madrid is based on that. To be in a solid defense, be very compact, and allowing the players from midfield and the attack to create and score goals. But so far, they haven't done that. They look very weak at the back, making so many mistakes. We saw today Coque once again, a couple of times, maladjustment between Hermoso and Witsel or Jimenez. Those are the mistakes that Simeone doesn't like. Those are the ones who make him very angry. And